You are listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report, episode 138.1, our boys basketball scoreboard for Saturday's games in Blackford, Delaware, Grant, Howard, Madison, Tipton, and Northern Hamilton counties, with an interview with Western head coach Cam Bennington.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengel.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Whenever you've chosen to listen to the Central Indiana Sports Report, good choice. Today is January 5th, 2025. It's a Sunday, so it's another day for the Central Indiana Sports Report. I am your host, Greg Mengelt, and I love Central Indiana basketball. I am coming to you today from Stage 22 in Elwood. Producer Susie is in the control room at headquarters in Jeffersonville. We start our scoreboard as we always do with the scores around the area with some other scores of interest. Then we do our roundup of each of our 8 local games on Saturday evening, including an interview with Western head coach Cam Bennington. Newcastle beat Grant 4 champion Mississinawa 57-35. Tri-Central got past Daleville 55-53, coming from behind to beat the Broncos in overtime. Class 2A number 10 Taylor won the Delphi Holiday Invitational with a 49-46 win over Rossville to improve to 9-0. 3A number 13 Marion took its second big loss of the weekend, 74-49, to Class 4A number 6 Westfield. Jay County shut down Muncie Central 36-28. It is the 598th career win for Jay County head coach Jerry Baumholt. Class 2A number 3 Park Heritage held off Sheridan 66-58. West Lafayette beat Western 47-42, and Tri beat Westdell 60-46. Some scores of interest just outside of our coverage area. Number 2 Lawrence North got past number 9 Jeffersonville 70-64 at Lawrence North. Class 3A number 1 Cathedral beat 4A number 15 Carmel 51-48 in a good one at Carmel. Number 14 Noblesville thrashed Tech 64-31. Plainfield beat 3A number 17 Zionsville 77-68. Class 3A number 7 New Palestine squeezed past Whiteland 57-54. Eastern Hancock beat Randolph Southern 72-35. Central Catholic defeated Rensselaer Central 54-53. Mechaniquah beat Whitco 75-50 for a Three Rivers Conference win. And Class 2, number 8 Manchester won its 9th game in a row, 68-55 over Canterbury. Before we get to the roundup of our 8 local games on Saturday, please go right now, like, subscribe, or follow us. We are getting way more listens than we are follows, subscriptions, and likes. So please go do that now. Don't forget that we are also at YouTube streaming there. All you have to do is search Central Indiana Sports Report. Please do that so you don't miss a single segment. Tri-Central came back to beat Daleville 55-53 in overtime at Daleville. The Trojans trailed 16-7 at the end of the first quarter, 27-24 at the half, and 42-38 at the end of the third quarter, but found a way to win for the 5th time in their last 6 games. Tri-Central is now 6-3 overall. They are 3-1 in true road games, 4-2 away from home altogether. Senior Drake Ramsier continued his hot play with 24 points. He scored 4 of the team's 8 points in overtime. Junior Jay Jankowiak finished with 12 points, and senior Izzy Fowler had 10. The Trojans have a big weekend ahead. They go to 8-2 Sheridan in a huge HHC game on Friday. Then they host 4-5 Westdell on Saturday. Daleville is now 1-6 on the season. Seniors Cooper Sexton and Josh Wilson led the Broncos with 11 points apiece. Both of them also hit 3 3-pointers. Senior Noah Colvin finished with 8 points, and junior Logan Parker had 6. Daleville hosts 0-8 Cowan Friday in a Mid-Eastern Conference contest. At West Lafayette, the host Red Devils beat Western 47-42. Western is now 7-4 on the year, having lost 3 of their last 4. Senior Sam Thurston finished with 11 points to lead Western. He was 3 for 7 behind the 3-point arc. Freshman Eli Mast had 11 points. Junior Bryson Rucker finished with 8 points and 3 rebounds. Also for Western, junior Carter Biggs, junior Levi Shoemaker, and senior Hudson Biggs each scored 4 points. Hudson Biggs also led the Panthers with 6 rebounds. Western hosts 6-3 Central Catholic on Tuesday. We could see a West Lafayette Western rematch in the Hoosier Conference Championship. I spoke with Western head coach Cam Bennington after the game. His team, of course, started out hot. It's taken some losses here recently, but Coach Bennington isn't worried. In fact, he says they're playing just as well now as they were during their winning streak.
We've hit a little bit of a rough patch here, but we kind of talked that amongst ourselves as coaches that at some point in time this was going to happen. We've talked, you and I've talked before, and I've mentioned that we're a pretty young team still with only having 2 seniors and 5 of our top 8 playing JV or freshmen or JV or 8th grade last year. We ran into a little bit of rough patch, and some of our weaknesses got exposed when we went to Lebanon and played in that holiday tournament, played some really good teams, and they exposed some of our weaknesses. And getting out of there with 1 win was nice to at least get 1. But then I thought our kids responded really, really well this week in practice, and we had a great week of practice, and we went at it hard. And today had to go play against a really, really good West Lafayette team. And that's the best basketball team we've played all year since we opened up with Kokomo. Kokomo is a different animal, but since then, West Lafayette is the best team we've played. And, we were right there with them the entire way. It was 31-30. We led at the end of the third quarter. And I thought we were really locked in defensively and did some really, really nice things all night long. But made some key and critical mistakes. In the fourth quarter, had some bad turnovers that allowed them to kind of slowly take the control of the momentum again. And, that was a game where we gave up, 30 points in 3 quarters and you give up 17 in the fourth. And that was probably the backbreaker for us. Just some turnovers and some missed assignments and coverages. But again, it's a really, really good team. And although we're upset about the loss, I'm really, really proud of our kids for the way they played today.
And that's what you want to see when you're in the middle of a bit of a rough stretch is your team responding in practice and in the next game.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And again, and I told the guys too, it is a rough streak because we're not winning. And you win 6 in a row and you start to feel like all you do is win. And then that every time we win, every time we play, we win. Anytime you lose, it hurts. And that's a good thing. We want to get to the point where, every time we lose, it hurts really bad because we expect to win every single time. But the other part of it is that, we got to play against Perry Meridian, who, maybe doesn't have a great record, but it's a 4A team that plays a ton of great competition. And then we played a really, really good and athletic Indianapolis Metropolitan team that, just kind of exposed some of our things with their speed and athleticism. And it was great for us. And we were able to see what we needed to get better at versus like just continuing to win some games in close fashion and not seeing the sense of urgency that we needed to improve and to work on these things and to see our kids respond the way they did and to work their tails off all week in practice and then come forth with the effort they had tonight. In the locker room, we set up the game. We're not going to be proud of it and we're not going to, be happy about a loss, but I am proud of the kids for the way they responded. And today was a step back in the right direction. And makes me feel really good about where we're going.
And it looked like you talked about the youth of the team. I think the other thing that I've noticed while looking through box scores is the balance of the team. You get different guys every night. You get a lot of guys with a few points here and there. Is that something you're trying to do?
Yeah, we haven't really talked about like, hey, like we need to be balanced in scoring and stuff. But it's something that we really like to see, and it's something that we believe in our kids is, we trust that we have a lot of different guys that can score in a lot of different ways. I think that makes us really tough to prepare for, and when I like that about our team. But like you said, we see a lot of balance and different guys leading us in scoring most nights. Carter Biggs has led us throughout the year and probably more games than anyone. And over the 3 game stretch at Lebanon, averaged 17 points a game and played really really well. And then tonight, Carter didn't play bad, but he was the focal point of their defense, and they did a good job being physical with him. And he only had 4 points tonight. But we were still in the game. You take our leading scorer, you hold him to 4 points. You got to think like, man, if you shut down the other team's best player like that, you're going to have a good chance to win the game. But we had other guys step up. A freshman and Eli Mass scored 11. Sam Thurston hits 3 3-pointers and finishes with 11 as well. And, Bryson Rucker has his best game of the year and scores 8. And we just have different guys step up and find ways. And I think that makes us really tough to prepare for. And it's something that we really like about our guys.
As Coach Bennington mentioned, West Lafayette is a really good team. The Red Devils are 8-2 now. That was their 7th win in a row since starting the season 1-2. Junior Ben Worth led West Lafayette with 14 points. Junior Drew Whitlock and senior Kevo St. Hilaire scored 9 points apiece. And senior Benny Speaker finished with 8. Newcastle beat Mississinawa 57-35. The loss dropped the Indians to 4-5 overall. They host 5-3 Southwood on Wednesday. Newcastle is now 2-6 overall. The win in a 6-game losing streak for the Trojans. Class 4A number 6 Westfield beat Class 3A number 13 Marion 74-49. Westfield led just 19-13 at the end of the first, but then ran away in the second quarter with an 18-9 advantage, and then outscored the Giants 21-12 in the third to put the game away. Marion is now 6-3 after taking back-to-back losses to 2 really good teams. 2 Class 4A championship contenders for sure. Senior Amar Rogers led Marion with 18 points. Senior Jadian Smith added 13. Marion is at Class 4A number 15 Carmel on Friday. It just doesn't get any easier. Then they host 8-2 Fort Wayne Southside, the mighty Archers, on Saturday. Westfield is now 7-1 after their 5th straight win. Senior Durante Morton led the Shamrocks with 18 points. He was 8 for 10 from the field. Juniors Drew Hafner and Brock Dedamore scored 12 points apiece for Westfield. They are at 8-1 Mount Vernon on Friday. That's going to be a good one. Jay County beat Muncie Central in a really good game at Jay County, a very low-scoring game. Jay County outscored the Bearcats 23-10 in the second half to steal a win from the Bearcats. It's not the first time that's happened this year to Muncie Central. They've been in a lot of games and dropped a lot of close ones. The Bearcats turned the ball over 5 times in the fourth quarter and still led with 3 minutes and 20 seconds to play. After Jay County took the lead, Muncie Central had to foul at the end, and the Patriots were able to hit some clutch free throws down the stretch to give head coach Jerry Baumholt his 598th career win. Muncie Central is now 3-7. Junior Shamar Taylor led the Bearcats with 9 points. He was 3 for 9 from behind the three-point arc. Freshman Jackson Johnson scored 7 points, and junior Terry Miles led the Bearcats with 5 rebounds and 3 deflections. Muncie Central hosts 8-2 Lafayette Jeff Friday in a big North Central Conference contest. Jay County is now 4-4 and hosts 6-2 Adams Central on Saturday with a chance to get Baumholt within 1 win of his career 600th. Then they are at 1-6 South Adams and then host 5-3 Bluffton. Class 2A number 3 Park Heritage beat Sheridan 66-58 to end Sheridan's 7-game winning streak. Despite the first loss in a long time for the Blackhawks, that is a very good performance. Sheridan is now 8-2. They had 3 players in double figures, led by senior Caleb Wright, who had 17 points. He was 3 for 9 from deep. He also had 4 assists and 2 steals. Sophomore Trey Page finished with 14 points. He was 4 for 12 from behind the three-point line. Senior Damon Winston had 12.6 rebounds and 4 assists. Junior Devin Hamilton had 6 points, 3 steals, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists. Sheridan hosts 6-3 Tri-Central Friday in an HAC contest. and they are at Rossville on Saturday in another one. Their next 3 games and 3 of their next 4 are conference games and could very well determine the conference championship in the end. Park Heritage is now 10-1. Sophomore Carter Crum had a game-high 20 points. Junior Isaac Pickle had a big game with 9 points, 13 rebounds, 5 steals, and 4 assists. Tri beat Westdell 60-46. Westdell is now 4-5 and has lost 4 of its last 5 since starting the season 3-1. The Warriors are at 6-3 Tri Central on Saturday. Tri is 8-1 after its 4th straight win. And the Central Indiana Sports Report boys basketball player of the night for the second time in about a week is Tri Central senior Drake Ramsier, who had 24 points and helped Tri Central beat Daleville 55-53 in overtime. He had 4 of the Trojans' 8 points in overtime, as the Trojans won for the 5th time in their last 6 games. And now you know everything we know about Central Indiana basketball. Hey, please go like, subscribe, or follow us and tell a friend. We love it. Thanks. Can't believe the Colts are wasting another year with Chris Ballard. The Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media. Oh, I almost forgot to mention, I love Susie.